Hello there, and welcome to 10 advanced tips and tricks for an easier time in Dwarf Fortress. So in this video, I am all about those little things that make life easier and make your survival less of a chore, and I hope that a couple of those things in between those lines are useful for you. So with number one, I want to get started with a couple of item alternatives. In this game, items can be made out of different materials. There's a couple of infamous ones that I want to cover here real quick because they really make a difference. So as you can see here, barrels can be replaced with rock pots. So rock pots are made at the craft store's workshop, and they basically replace wood with stone on that end. You can do the same thing by building thrones instead of chairs, which are again made out of stone instead out of wood. There are also other things in the game that can be replaced with different materials, but since wood is in some biomes really a scarce commodity, here it doesn't grow a single tree, therefore it can be really useful to limit the stuff that has to be made out of wood to be made out of wood, namely beds. Beds can't be substituted, but most items can be substituted. Bins can be made out of various materials. Here we're running iron bins because we have so much iron, and therefore these are, to me personally, the most useful candidates to know about. Number two, what you can do about food. Two things. The easiest ways to get food done. Don't embark on a dead island like I did here and forage outside. So here we are on a mountain biome, and I actually had to cheat to get my colony down here. But usually you can forage via gathering orders outside whatever you want. This is getting you through the early game super easy. You don't really need more than forage from outside if you are living in anything like a temperate or hospitable area. There's more than enough stuff that you can make booze out of in there. And after that, you just need something that is flooded. Rooms like these, this room here, together with a little patch that I've shown you there, easily keep 200 people alive. No problem. We could even export food. So the key here is that you use underground soil patches, not the ones that are made in sand or clay. These are only 1/3 as effective. I'm talking about those that you can either do in the caverns or by pouring water over a area and then putting a farm on top of it. Either way, these are super effective and should be utilized to use your food. And like I said, foraging is really powerful early on. Use that until you have a proper farm running. Number three, in the work order area, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to make, I figured out in hundreds of hours of experience that whenever you want to order something new and you wonder how much you should keep in stock of it, you go here into the configurations and you configure it like this. 10 of each. Aroundly 10 of each are a good number for everything, basically, because Dwarf Fortress loves to run in big numbers, and I would only make these numbers go lower if I know that it's something which is hard to acquire, or bigger if I know that I just simply need more of those. But most of my work orders here are really just configured like this, just 10 of it, because this triggers to have a good stockpile on your fortress at any time, and if ever there needs to be anything done, it gets reproduced. Of course, you can do much more precise configurations with your work orders, but at the end of the day, I realized that 10 of each does cover like 80 to 90% of all work order needs. Number four, bundle up XP. So whatever you do in this game, it is really paying off to focus certain jobs on singular people. The most infamous to me is found here in the standing orders. Only farmers harvest or everybody harvests. Put only farmers harvest and planters to be done by only selected people doing this, and you have legendary planters in no time. You can also assign here workers specifically to a workshop to make sure that a very talented person is getting those jobs. Long story short, if you want in Dwarf Fortress to achieve greatness, it really pays off to bundle up all the tasks of that specific job on one person alone to let them soak up all the XP to become legendary in no time. The thing here is, which is not really well depicted in the game, on the first glance at least without mods, is that after being legendary, your skills can develop way past that. Legendary is only the last name in the list, but you can actually level basically endlessly. I don't know if there's actually a limit, I never hit it before, but long story short, the more a specific individual does the same thing, the better they get at it, no matter what, and you can really do some cool things with that. More about that later in another tip. Number 5, cheap sources of happiness. So, especially at the beginning of the game, I really feel like there is always a specific need to keep your folks happy. Here's a couple of very easy things. First up, a meeting area. You just plaster that down somewhere and people go there and chill out. If you set up something valuable in there, like high value floors, statues, whatever, they become even happier. Same goes for the temples. Set up a meeting area and reconfigure it as a temple. Look for the most dominant religion, or just let it be a ecumenical temple open for everybody. Done. You have an easy chill out zone for the folks there as well. And beyond that, a tavern doesn't need much more than a chest. It really does not need more than that. Tavern, chest, tavern keeper if you want to. People start dancing and singing in there. And the dining hall is a little bit more of an effort, but it's also a very, very cheap source of happiness. And before you are able to give everybody a bedroom, I really figured that a little dormitory on the side also keeps the happiness high. These little things, they don't cost you much of an effort to set up, but they will get you through the early phase, and people can tank several nasty occurrences way better with that. Number 6, lockable rooms. So this is something that goes by experience and helps you out by a lot. So you not only can lock up bedrooms of people that are no longer popular, but having your workshops, for example, lockable like this, has the disadvantage that if ever an artifact needs to be made and you sadly don't have the materials to finish it, you can just lock the door and that sad bozo in there can die without disturbing anybody outside there. If an artifact can't be made, people can be just depressive or just outright run amok. If the latter happens, it's really cool to have them just locked in there until they die of dehydration, because it's way better to have it this way than the other way around, which is way more traumatizing. Overall, lockable rooms have many uses. The other one that is for me very, very important to note, hospital rooms. Because if ever you have to treat somebody who suffered from lycanthropy, this is how you can lock them away, and just forget where the key was, because they're basically incurable. But that on another note. Either way, rooms that can be locked can be invaluable, and I really, really appreciate using them on many ends. Now, number 7, exits and FPS. So sometimes when you do a bit of a, let's see, I don't have too much cavern action here. So sometimes in forts where I have a lot of cavern conquered, I do have the problem that I lock up my caverns because I don't want any intruders boggling up my business. And when I did the lockup, somebody was already pathing into my fort, hostile usually, stealth if not quite often. And when they then stand in front of the door that they were able to pass through a minute ago, this kills your FPS. In short, when your FPS are suddenly dying, check your entrances and exits. More often than not, the culprit was just some beastman, some monster trying to get into my base, and when I opened the door quickly and let them get slaughtered by my local militia, everything was good again. So that is something that I really, really can recommend using when you notice that your FPS are going down. It's usually a pathing issue, which kills the most FPS, at least in my experience. Number 8, Engraving is so flippin' OP. So going for an engraver who's just configured like the planters, which I've shown on number 4, allows you to make legendary engravers. Legendary engravers are basically a bit like cheating. Whenever you need a room that fulfills a certain value, you just need to send in the legendary engraver and let him draw funny Eurist faces on the ground, preferably everywhere. You need to know for yourself how far you want to take it, but the story is the same. An engraving multiplies the value of the item which it is applied to. And if the engraving is of legendary quality, boy oh boy does the value multiply. And therefore, it's very simple. You have the same logic like I have shown you before. Skills go way beyond legendary, and a legendary engraver, which is doing all the engravings in your fort, will just crank out so much wealth that any guild hall or any temple will be a piece of cake. Mind you though, that it is a pretty cheap and easy way, and all those faces on the ground sure look like ass over the time. So you should really consider for yourself how you want to use that, how much you want to use that, because it sure feels very exploity after a while, I can't tell you. Number 9, imports. So when you need something, order it from your friends from the mountain home, especially if it's something that you have a hard time procuring. My favorites are things like paper sheets, or entire empty quires, or whatever you can't produce well on your own side. Early game, sometimes it also is a good thing to import bituminous coal or lignite, stuff like that. The gist of it is, utilize the yearly caravan that comes as an opportunity to have access to a AI-driven fort that has everything your heart could desire usually, and ordering a bit of it is an easy task, and you can get yourself a lot of little things done with that, especially when you are just starting out and several of your industries can't be ran yet because you're just running around with 20 dwarfs. And number 10, traps. So traps I want to point out here are the way of making the game easier, so easy that I often opt out by now of using traps. But here's a few things worth knowing. Stonefall traps are dirt cheap, and you can just rank them, put them up on a long line, and it kills off early game invaders easily. But they really are bad in the long run, so usually they're not even worth the time and the effort. Weapon traps are excellent last resting places for the gear of the invaders, because you can't put in every looted weapon into a weapon trap. This is so good. You can't just use the invaders' weaponry to defend the next invaders. I love it. And cage traps are outright overpowered. They can encage giants, dragons, everything except for forgotten beasts, demons, and angels. So these are so powerful that I usually don't even run them anymore, because they just, if I don't want something encaged for roleplay purposes, it just trivializes so many encounters that you should really use them wisely. But on the other end, if you're new to the game and you're afraid of losing everything because of an unfair encounter, cage traps, they are so good. They were really good. So here goes. 10 things to make the game easier for you. I hope it helped you out. There's surely more things. At the end of the day, it's hard to have everything on one list. So if you have anything to add, I'm all ears. The comment section is all yours, because I always love to learn new things. And of course, leave a like, leave a subscribe. Consider supporting the channel. If my work is worth a dime to you, it would really mean a lot to me. There's YouTube channel membership or links downstairs in the description box. Many thanks for all of you who do. It really means a lot to me. And of course, I want to say thanks to you for watching this video, especially even after the ad rolls. That's really nice of you. So, see you all on the next one, and have a great day.